There we go.
Hello, everybody. We're trying to do this balancing act of, it's kind of hilarious, actually.
Hello.
We should be able to show on one camera what we're actually doing because we've got 3 different cameras happening. And one's on the laptop, one's on a tripod, and AJ's holding the other one.
In my hands.
So we are doing magic tricks tonight. Yes. Talk about making the best of your content.
Greetings, delicious.
What we're doing.
Delicious humans.
Delicious humans.
Superhumans.
I had a word. I forgot what my word was. I like clever humans because I think humans are clever.
I like clever people too.
Mm.
Yeah. And we have a bit of an exciting announcement to make tonight, and so we thought let's come on live. Oh, I'm having a wireless connection issue.
If you're jumped on, by the way, just tell us who you are, where you're coming in from. It's always great to know who's on the live stream, so we can put some names to faces and also people who we've never met before. So if it's you who is watching, please let us know. We would love to find out who it is.
And so before we jumped on the live, we always like to get a little inspiration, a little motivation, something to make us kind of be in the moment. And so tonight we did that by choosing a page out of a book. And we literally just flipped open the book and went with whatever came up straight away. And so what's in your book?
My flip, I literally held an intention. And this is a fun thing that you can do if you want a cool way to read books.
Yeah.
Is that you just get the book and then you just focus and have a particular intention and then you open the book. So you don't read the whole book.
No.
You just read the bit that you need at the time.
Like you choose a card. And this book was gifted to me by the beautiful Rebecca.
So this book is called Invisible Power. And on the front page, it says, everyone's hidden inner capacity. And that is something that we love to dig into and develop in people and help people to develop some confidence in themselves around this.
Yeah.
So this chapter that really jumped out to me was called Changing from the Inside Out. And, you know, AJ and I were having a conversation about how in our lives we're often told by other people around us, or we seek external help rather than looking at ourselves as being the experts on who we are.
Finding that from within.
So I just wanted to read a really short paragraph from it. It says, the point of this book is to show you the invisible power of your mind and the value of realizing this power. That's enough, but there is another sentence. If you see what we are pointing to, you will naturally evolve from the inside out.
Yeah.
So that focus on the inside, your intuition, your inner knowing, that's really important, especially for the rest of what we want to talk about with the immersion day.
And so I was greedy and have 2 books because I couldn't decide. And so one of them is this one, which is a Greg Braden book, and it's on the science of self-empowerment. And the little bit that I chose or flipped to in that is, when we change the story, we change our lives.
Boom, boom.
And so we were thinking about, what are some of the stories that you tell yourself? What are some of the stories that you believe what you believe, and you've probably believed that a long time? And are you telling your story to yourself?
And stories that you've inherited, you've inherited from other people.
Stories from
often
your parents.
Well-meaning parents, you might have inherited some of these stories.
Society.
Yeah, and many of those stories are really not helping you live life the way that you want to live it.
And also, like even in the current climate, not to be Pollyanna, but what are some of the stories that you've been hearing about COVID or about what's going to happen at work or the way of the world? And are you buying into those stories, and are you perpetuating them and telling those stories over and over?
Yeah, very good question.
And then my other book, which is one of my faves, it's an Alan Watts book that I've only had for about a year. I love some of his thinking, Alan Watts, over there and over here.
He's a real classic personal development person from the 40s or 50s, from a long time ago.
A long time ago. Oh, and 60s up to around that time, I think.
Yeah.
But he lived a really eclectic life. He lived in a boat for quite a while, and people used to go and line up and sit outside his boat hoping to hear some of his wisdom. And he eventually got sick of that, and he went and built a cabin in the woods. But the page that I opened to of his book is, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
And we were just chatting earlier, and I was saying how I used to be a member of a spiritual group along with AJ, and when I was in that group, I went through this process of recognizing in myself the difficulty that I had at the time with the word desire. Because I was fine with need, I was fine with want, but when it got to desire, it was like another whole level of being able to ask for what you feel like you deserved. And it felt like the level was too much for me at the time.
Right.
It's not an issue that I have now, but at the time I did. I remember it being a real, a real epiphany.
And just that word desire, because it's kind of like then owning that I'm asking, seeking.
And I think
something,
because a desire is something that you don't have any requirement for. The whole point of a desire is that you don't need it.
I don't need food and shelter. No. I desire this thing or this.
So it's almost like, well, who am I to have this massive list of
indulgent
things that I desire? You know, how indulgent is that? That's how I felt at the time. It's interesting how you can change.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But we digress. And we're kind of here to talk about our new exciting announcement.
We are. We are going to be having an online immersion day. So if you've not known what an online immersion day is, it's the face-to-face immersion day that we had planned, and we've taken the components out of it that still work really well in an online fashion.
Yeah. And so we're going to be marinating you in the brilliance of thinking about.
I'm thinking we're all olives for a second there. And we're getting somehow vinegar.
What is it you desire? What's the future self that you want to expand and grow into? What are some of the ways to get out of your own way to create that reality?
And to really provide some tangible support with you about visioning in your world.
Yeah.
Because we were chatting earlier, and both of us had the feeling that for most people, one of the things that they can find really difficult is this idea of thinking in a big enough fashion about themselves and their lives and the impact that they would like to have.
Yeah. And lots of people find it hard and struggle even to think about what I'm going to be doing next year. And certainly through COVID, a lot of people have said, oh, my whole year's gone.
It's become much more short-term thinking during COVID. It's interesting.
And even when I'm working with organisations before COVID and thinking about the economy and things like that, most of their corporate planning that used to be maybe a 10-year plan had become a 6-month or a 1-year plan. And so we want to challenge you to stretch and think about the impact you want to have and where you want to go in the future. And so this immersive day is going to begin with some interesting brain hacks and things to get you out of maybe just relying on intellect. So
and a really deep experience. Sound. Yeah, we're going to be using a lot of sound. And the beautiful Siddhi Shakti is the person who's going to be sharing her sound healing wisdom with us. So that's how we're going to kick off the day in a really deep sound immersion.
Yeah. And we will be doing meditations and some guided visualizations and some processes to get you dropping from the wisdom of your head down into the wisdom of your heart and the wisdom of your gut. So we're going to be really getting you to have a full body experience of where you want to go.
And you're going to be documenting that as the day goes along. So you'll need to definitely bring your journal with you.
And coloured textures.
And somewhat, coloured textures, any way that you kind of think creatively about yourself and your life and what you would like that to look like and be like.
And then we'll have lunch together all over Zoom. So in the convenience of your own home, you can
immerse. A Zoom nick.
Yeah.
It's not a picnic, it's a Zoom nick.
A Z-nick. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do something exciting, which is hot seating. And so this is a form of live masterminding and group coaching that both of us have used in our practices and our businesses for a number of years. I've been doing it with my leading ladies for about 8 or 9 years. And we just love this because it's like having a board of directors in the room with you, all giving you feedback on whatever your challenge is or your exciting idea and how can I progress that.
And you cannot get a better opportunity for someone to sit and help you workshop a particular idea or a concept or a problem or a challenge that you're having. We plan to have the hot seats last for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
But by the time you've had 20 to 30 minutes of hot seating, you've had a year's worth of coaching.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's, and everyone who's watching, who's not on the hot seat themselves, also gets to give input and reflection on what they're observing.
And I think I just saw a little Laria leg in the shot then. That was a bonus, yeah. I know for me, what most of the time when I've run hot seats, leading ladies and other people will say that they get so much value out of watching other people be in the hot seat. Not necessarily just their things, but they learn and grow from that. Yeah.
If you think about it, like whilst you're sitting there watching, you're going, oh yeah, that applies to me. Oh, she must be speaking to me. Oh, really? This must be my hot seat, not the person who's actually on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So you start connecting all the dots about yourself and your own life, and then you start to see the synergies. And you also, as an observer sitting there, can end up with a whole list of things that you want to do and implement and change in your world as a result of watching other people.
So if you're ready to kind of move forward fast and to get the trajectory of your life happening the way you want it to, this immersive experience is going to be just the thing for you.
So down below, you'll find a link and you'll have all the information that you need in the link about what is actually involved in the day, how much the day costs. You'll be able to click on a button to say, yes, I want to buy here. Now, the other thing to note is that it's on September 19th, which is a Saturday in a few weeks' time. But we are fully aware of how the online world works. So the cool thing about this is even if you can't make the September 19th date, you can still go ahead, buy your spot on the immersion, and we'll send you a recorded copy of the day.
Yeah.
But you still have to book in to buy your spot.
Yeah. And it's super valuable, super affordable, and it's going to be lots of fun. So we hope to see some of you in this immersive experience. Come marinate like olives with us. Yes, like olives.
And if anyone has any kind of questions about the day, or you'd like to know more, or you specifically want to ask myself or AJ something, just direct message us. More than happy to answer any of your questions.
Send us a DM. All right.
See you inside.
Peace out. Superhumans, delicious humans. See you soon.
Bye.